Hey Shalom, Kahala Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. This is your brother Awar making a video to feed the sheep, to edify the lambs. Shalom to the Akim Nakwath, and they're going to be watching this video. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Brakathum, Kahala Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Right, and nice. And ever since the so-called New Year started, according to these people's Gregorian calendar, you know that America has killed one of the Iranians generals who are the Persians today, Elamites, right? And it's been stirring up the Iranians, and they've been threatening the Americans to get revenge on the life of their brethren that the life of their brethren that these Edomites took. Right, and we haven't made a video on, and I was just like, I can't just not make a video on this. We're making a video about plenty of things. You know, this one's something you can't just leave y'all hanging on. Right, so the Spirit's on me to just make a video real quick. Just pull out a few scriptures and go into the prophecy into the time that we're heading in. Right, so let me get Revelations 11 and 14 first. Right, and it says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Right, the second woe is past, the second world war is past, and the third world war is fast approaching. Right, let me get another precept. Right, it said if the Most High didn't cut short these days, there would be no flesh left to save. Right, because in the first world war lasted a couple years, and so did the second war. I believe the second world war was about 4 or 5 years. This world war isn't gonna last for too long. Right, if it even lasts a year, and right after the nations destroy America, right, Babylon the Great, that Yahushua is gonna save his elect, and he's gonna go take the rest of the battle to the nations that destroyed the Americas, and he's gonna take them all down at one time. So this isn't gonna be a long war this time. And Most High is getting ready to cut the time short. Now let me get that precept. Okay, this is Matthew chapter 24 and 22. This is why you should be praying for the Most High to hurry up and speed these days up. Right, and except those days should be shortened. So, okay. Verse 21, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So this time that we're coming in of judgment, there's never a time going to be like it. There was never a time like it before, prior in history, and there won't be a time after. So you know the Most High done flooded the earth, right? He done had you Israelites go into captivity since Egypt, Babylon, the Grecians, the Romans, all these evils that have come upon you. There's been a lot of mass murders in the world. There's been a lot of evil things that have happened worldwide. It's including in the worst slavery known to man, which is the transatlantic slave trade. Right, the Most High is saying all this tribulation and plagues that's coming, the time of trouble there's never going to be a time like it. Right, and that's so sure you should know that it's going to be real serious. Time is coming in, and neither is there going to be a war like this either. Back in the days, they didn't have nuclear missiles to fire off from war. They were using airplanes, guns, tanks, right, mounted weapons. Right, they didn't even use horses no more around that was just the Second World War. All right. Now these wars are going to be fought with obviously military troops and things of that nature. There's still their military like submarines and tanks and fighter jets and all that stuff is still gonna fight too. But the main trump card that everyone has now is the nuclear missile, the ICBM missile, and that's what's gonna destroy this place. Okay. So right. So if the Most High wasn't were to not stop the Third World War, there would be no flesh left to save, because of nuclear missiles, they cause radiation which destroys the land for a long time. Okay. And even the after effects on the people, it poisons it poisons your body, right? Which I don't know about the after effects that it might bring to your offspring, but it's no good for the land, and it takes up to hundreds of years or decades for it to heal back after a nuke. And just for the atomic bomb alone, and these nuclear missiles, they're way more stronger than the atomic bombs, way more potent, right? So the Most High, no matter what's happening, no matter how long it may feel, the Most High is getting ready to shorten these days, right? So this article reads: Trump warns Iran if it hits any Americans or American assets. We have targeted 52 Iranian sites. Here it is. These people are the ones who, right? This is what Trump says. Iran is talking very boldly about targeting certain USA assets as revenge for our ridding the world of their terrorist leader who had killed an American and badly wounded many others, not to mention all the people he had killed over his lifetime. Right? What about the crimes of that you American presidents have committed on everyone in the Middle Eastern areas, in Iraq and Afghanistan, right? They claim that they rode an airplane into the World Trade Centers, but that only killed about 300 people. Ever since then, these guys been killing thousands of innocent people as well, right? Which we know that was fabricated, so they had a reason to go into that land and take the resources. But here it is, these guys are saying they have 52. They're calling them the terrorists, right? But you have 52 Iranian sites, right, in their country, right? They don't even they don't have the American has them outnumbered, right? But they're claiming, they're acting like they're the ones that are being oppressed, being bullied. Right? That's how these Edomites are. That's how they act. Right? Here it is. They'll be racist towards you, and they'll be cussing you out, calling you all sorts of names, derogatory terms, start beating on you, and then when somebody rises up against them for what they did, they start crying. They get upset. They get offended at the fact that you call them out for their wickedness. That's who you're being ruled over. I mean, our people wanna be ruled over by this man forever, right? He's the one oppressing other people, but they claim that they're being the ones being oppressed. How do you have 52 Iranian sites locked in? These guys probably only killed. I don't know the backstory on what this man has done, because for all you know, he didn't really do anything to these Americans, and they just killed him for out of their own free will, their own desires, right? But here it is, you got their country surrounded and got all this capability against them, right? And you threatening them after you just went and killed one of their own people, right? So let me read another precept. This is Joel chapter 3 and verse 1. For behold, in those days. Actually, let me get some more on this Edomite first, right? Because this is who's ruling over us, man. This is Daniel chapter 4, verse 17. This matters by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, right? So what you still have to understand is that the Most High is ruling in the kingdom of men. He rules on earth, right? Proverbs 21 and 1 says, that it says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Most High Yahweh, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. So just like when you read about the story of Exodus, there's times when the Pharaoh wanted to let the people go, but the Most High said from the beginning to Moses that he's going to send all the plagues on him, and he will not let them go until the Most High's word comes to pass. Right? So if the Pharaoh wanted to let him go, but how many times does it say the Most High hardened his heart that he wouldn't let them go? Right? The Most High hardened his heart. It's not Pharaoh was hardening it. Pharaoh was being stubborn. The Most High hardened Pharaoh's heart. So the Most High is hardening the kings of the presidents of these nations to not want peace, right? To not want to, because here it is. Esau puts out movies like Zootopia and tries to promote how his country is a post-racial society and we're all inclusive to everybody, right? They're not racist. They're not any of these evil things that they may seem. That they're an advanced society when it comes to race and social justice, but that's the exact opposite of what immigrants see and feel when they get over here. And people are starting to see that these people are hypocrites, and they're tired of them oppressing everyone on the earth. Right? So Esau, the Most High, doesn't want peace. He wants his will to come to pass, which is ultimately for the horns to the horns to hate the whore, right? Which is in Revelation 17, and to destroy her with fire. Right? So going back to Daniel 4:17, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the bases of men. So this kingdom that the Most High likened unto clay and iron, right? He says these people are the basis. This is the lowest kingdom, which everybody loves so much. They got New York, California. What's another hot spot? Florida, Miami. Right? All these places that people see and think about when they think of America, the hot spots. Right? This people look at it as it's the greatest place on earth. But Most High says it's like he likened it. He'd even liken it unto silver, right? He'd even liken it unto gold. He likened it unto iron and brass, right? Or iron and mud, or whatever term it was. Let me see. It says, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay. Yeah, iron and clay. Okay. So now what the Most High's desire is for there to be a world war, so he can show forth his son and his glory in his son and saving his people, and let everyone on the world know that we're his chosen people. Right? This is the second Exodus, and this is the last one for us. So where is that gonna get? Joel chapter 3. Okay. This is Joel chapter 3 and verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. So he's speaking of a specific time in which is happening right now. He's talking about there's a time coming when I'm going to bring the children of Israel out of the captivity that they're in, right? I will, now listen to this. He says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. So while the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian are coming together under their God-given nationality, their birthright, at the same time the nations are coming and preparing war against the America, right? These people who don't read the scriptures, they don't know. They just think it's a coincidence. It happened all of a sudden, right? They just think the Israelites is a movement. Not if they read the scriptures, understand this is all according to the Most High's word. It's all according to prophecy, right? The Most High's will is going to be done, and will plead with them there. So like I will also gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is in the Middle Eastern area, right? And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land, right? For all the things that they've done to our people, and to how they parted the land between the Palestinians, Hamites, Africans, and these Edomites. They call themselves Jews, right? So that's where the battle of Armageddon is going to take place, the final battle, right? So that's why the Most High is raising up these nations to prepare for war, so he can deliver us out of this captivity, and have his son finally destroy the last of the kings. Right? That's why I say Yahushua is going to be taking crowns. Right? So but don't be troubled yet, like Yahushua said, that these things must come to pass. Right? The last prophecy before our deliverance is that mark of the beast. All right? Which is the RFID chip. Okay, that is the last a prophecy before our deliverance, and that's gonna show the Most High whether you're down for Him or not. Right? Let me get this last scripture and I'll close out. This is Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4. And the Most High said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Right? Just like in Exodus, right? The Most High had you put when the Most High was gonna kill the firstborns of the Egyptians, He had you mark your dwelling place with what was it? Was with the blood, with the blood, right? So that when the angel would overpass to destroy the firstborns, they wouldn't kill anyone who had that mark, over their dwelling place. Okay, so that's how there's a spiritual mark that's going to be that the angels are setting upon those that are sighing and crying for the abominations that are done in the midst of our people and in this world that we're living, right? For who are going to fulfill those prophecies of not taking the mark of the beast and being faithful and unto death and keeping the law, statutes, and commandments unto death, right? Which ultimately goes to lead to the sum of the matter, which is to fear the Most High and keep the commandments. But right, the keeping the commandments and having faith goes hand in hand. Right? This is Revelation chapter 14, verse 12. Here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of Yahushua. Okay? Right, and we're right before, and that's actually, let me read this to from 8 to 12, and then I'll close out. Right? Revelation 14 and 8, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, the great city, because she made all the nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, that goes to show you there's going to be a physical mark that you're going to be able to take in your forehead or in your right hand, or it can be any part in your body where they'll inject it, but the vision for John was mainly seeing people taking it in their forehead and in their right hand. Okay? Verse 10, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, right? Because when as those missiles are coming, Yahushua is going to gather his elect send his angels to gather his elect from the four winds. So they're gonna see you. Right, you're gonna see your brothers and sisters getting beamed up. The 2/3, all the people who don't make it are gonna see the saints get beamed up into the chariots, right? And in front of the angels, everyone's gonna see you get who didn't make it and who made it. Okay, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of Yahushua. So this is what we're working for, to be called those saints that we're patiently waiting and keeping the commandments and the faith of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Right? So most I will, and I'm gonna make some more videos on some of these news and prophecies and go into it to edify y'all. I hope y'all are edified. Right, so, shalom.